Welcome, everyone. This is Punty Mules, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at latest in LOTRO and hear LOTRO players. And this week, I'm joined by Krister
Hello.
and Senswinda.
Hello, everybody.
Hello there, and welcome to the show. Where this week at Sainstone Games, nothing really happened because, of course, it is the holiday week, so they are all taking a rest after all the work they did and getting the expansion out and making the first few tweaks to that. Probably not going to be heard much from Sandstone Games until January. But of course, we do still have some sales because we can't have any holiday season without some sales. So since when? What's on sale this week?
Well, this week, the 2025 Patrons coffers are still reappeared. You can pick from the coffers of the Sands, the Loyal Knight, the Jaunty, or the Gilded Caravan through January 1st, 2026. And you can check out more about those coffers at LOTRO.com. There are also 4 weeks of Yuletide savings, and we're in week number 4. So now through January 1st, get 75% off select Monster Play cosmetics, 50% off recipes, 35% off the Sublime Patrons Coffer, and double bonus points through January 1st. Available for a limited time, the Deep Places Memoir Pack. Memoir of Moria and Isengard cosmetics, including all 8 Moria cosmetic cloaks for all your characters. Also available through January 1st. And you can get up to 85% off select expansions in the LOTRO market. 85% off Mordor, 70% off War of the Three Peaks, 70% off Before the Shadow. Important, Before the Shadow's content is now free to all users. This purchase will provide all other listed items. 40% off Corsairs of Umbar, 25% off Legacy of Morgoth, and that is also through January 1st. Now, go ever on and on! You can get 30% off select XP boosts, enhanced XP supply, 100% mark acquisition boosts, also through January 1st, and the weekly coupon is free dye, Crimson, with the coupon code Holiday Red, all one word, now through January 1st.
All right, thank you. So those are the sales. That's the main bit of news from there. But I decided that since not much is going on in Sandstone Games this week, let's just have a look back at what is expected, what they promised over the
Can I say
year.
something before
Yeah.
you begin? What was hysterical about looking at the notes today was looking at the beginning and seeing that there were no updates or anything. I was like, yes, rock on. No updates. That's beautiful. And then I scrolled down a bit and I looked at the end of your review notes, and I was like, oh my, our,
No, I'm not reading all of that.
This
finally
might be
reading
why
all of them.
we feel like we've done so many release notes this year, though.
Now, I'd just like to say I would encourage it if you were trying to master the art of fast talking, just to see if you could do it all in like 5 minutes.
I'd be lucky to do all this in 5 hours. No, we're not. I'm not going to read all the. I decided to include the link to the release notes in here just in case anyone was curious about how things went along on the timeline. Now, I included what I consider to be the most important of the releases. I think there are a couple of them where you might argue might not really qualify for that, but you will notice that many of the smaller releases are not actually on here. But I do include most of them in here, and they're broken up by under the producers' letters that came out with the letters from the producers and the team and all that stuff. So we had 3 letters that came out over the year: the December 2024 letter, the March 2025 letter, and the July 2025 letter.
And 17 updates that you've listed here. That's not all of the updates.
Yeah,
there's
that's
a
not
reason
all.
we felt like there were updates every week. Almost.
But anyway, this was the idea of this, showing what the updates were so we could see how well they fulfilled it. But I want to go through the letters, at least the timelines they gave with the letters. And that way we can have a look at how well they managed to fulfill what they did it. Now, one of the things they did on the development update in here is they decided to have 3 letters this year, and that way they didn't promise everything way back in January and say, "Okay, this is what we're gonna do all throughout the year," and have it turn out that what was expected originally for December had absolutely nothing to do with what we eventually got in December. And so they had very, very little said about Q3, Q4, but then as the year went on with later letters, then started to fill those out. So let's first have a look at what they were saying were going to be out in the first quarter. The first thing was the raid, which according to what I have here, that came out in update 43. So yes, there was a raid in the first quarter. That was the Temple of Utag Bur, otherwise known as Tub. And Krister, you've ran that raid, right?
Yes.
Right. Did it feel like it was a? I guess it was a tub. It was a bloodbath or something.
Yeah. I would say that we approached it with the same positivity and encouragement that we always do, and then it went bad.
That was my experience when I was in there.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
frustrating and especially we had a couple moments where we felt like things were going right, and the moment you feel any hope at all, it's I believe they've built the game intelligence that it can detect that. All right, they're growing too hopeful, and everything. That's exactly our experience. It was a tough challenge, and so of course that just speaks to, you think about how tough it is for us to do it, and we're not hardcore raiders, but to think about the people that can do it at the highest difficulties is it just must be on another level.
Okay. All right. And the second thing they listed here was quality of life update, and I can't remember what the quality of life update was. Oh, that's right. There was to be an update this year where they emphasized the first update, in addition to having the raid, was supposed to be a large number of quality of life things that they addressed, and I had completely forgotten about them. I guess because, quality of life update, you say, "Oh, what's that's all about?" And then it completely goes over your mind and saying, "Okay, oh, what you say was coming in the next update?"
Maybe they'll
So,
reintroduce travel rations.
no, they didn't do that. I mean, there were a number of tweaks to classes in update 43, which I which I think reading a lot about class updates over the year was so that might have been considered on theirs. There So, yeah, I don't remember I think I remember talking about the quality of life update when it was happening and stuff like this, but remembering all the stuff that went into it was didn't leave a huge impression in my mind. So I think that update 43 was one where they had a large number of changes in there for quality of life in there. I just don't remember the details of it or anything like that. So number 3 thing they had in there was an update to the deed log. You remember the update to the deed log?
Indeed.
Indeed, yes. Well, more like out to deed because I think it lasted 2 weeks before it got reverted. I can't remember whether the primary reason was because there were certain bugs in it or because they got so much negative feedback on it. I think it might have been a combination of the 2,
I
is
would
that
imagine, yeah.
there were some bugs and there are a lot of people who didn't like the layout of it. So I think that when they first reverted it, they were thinking that the reversion was only temporary and that they will soon the new deed log will come back. But I have a feeling that because of the feedback they got, it was some the fixes to it and getting it back out probably slipped in their priority list over the year. So we'll say that the raid definitely got out. The quality of life updates, I think we discussed them back then. I can't remember the details of them. The deed log, that was definitely they tried and things didn't go quite right. Actually, I think the deed log was part of the quality of life update that they were expecting. The bug fixes, they had a number of bug fixes and all in there. So that was all throughout the quest. I remember reading a lot of bug fixes and stuff like that. And also an update to birding. And the update to birding turned out to be adding several more zones. They added birding to Rovanian and Rohan. So there were additional areas in which you could spot birds. I still haven't gotten all the birds in the original zone. So there's why I still got a bit to work on in looking for birds. So that's what was planned on first quarter. So I'd say they got the raid. And okay, probably the quality of life update and the update to birding. Those were actually done. The deed log attempted, but not quite enough. So let's say first quarter, let's give them a B for that. Or anyone else have any other thoughts on that?
I'm comfortable with that grade.
That sounds about
Okay.
right.
All right. So let's go into the the second quarter, where the first thing they have in here was the 18th anniversary. So I guess from the 18th anniversary, that sort of tied into the is also about when we were going to did they mention oh yes, they mentioned in the letter, but it's not on the timeline. One of the things they mentioned in the letter, of course, was the upcoming of the 64-bit servers. And that we would be getting them, and they said that they said that they'll give you more details as they got closer to the first release of 2025, and there were just so many demands for more information. I think they brought out the information faster on there, and the move I think happened a little bit faster than they were also expecting it to be. So it turned out to be, I think originally they were thinking maybe in April they'll start the moves. I think they had to start them in like late February, early March or something like that. So that definitely got into there, but that's not in the timeline in there. But yeah, that was a highlight of the year or a low light, depending on your point of view of the 64-bit 64-bit moves. Yeah, I guess. But
Well,
anyway,
what about introducing those new servers as well was, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of, I'm sorry.
yeah, you can talk about the new servers.
I was just going to say just that that has to just be the biggest shakeup in LOTRO ever since its inception, you know.
Probably, though I'm sure that some people in Europe will still say that the closing of Codemasters would have been the biggest shakeup.
Well, okay, fair enough.
And I'm sure anyone from Russia will say that the closing of the Russian servers was their biggest shakeup. But at least the servers in they had servers to transfer to for the Codemasters closure. So all the accounts were brought over, which did not happen with the Russian servers because that was done by a completely different group, and that they didn't have and say some games or Turbine at the time or whatever didn't have access to any of the information from the Russian servers. So they had to start from scratch on that side.
Okay, that would be I think that would be
Yeah.
personally the biggest shakeup.
Yeah. All right. Now let's go to the second quarter. Well, we had the 18th anniversary, which I do remember there was an 18th anniversary. We had all that going on. And one of the things that they added to the anniversary event were missions for the 18th anniversary. And let's see. Then they had a content pack, which we'll talk about that. Uniting Shigana, which was part of the content pack, a new instance, and a new raid. That's what was planned for the second quarter. And yes, there was an 18th anniversary event in there, and that was part of. Okay, the anniversary, it looks like that was 44.1 where we had the 18th anniversary. They added 6 missions that were associated with the anniversary. I think it was 6 missions. Now, the thing about these missions is they were all actually updated versions of classic quests that you had from the earlier levels. Mm. So the entire idea of the anniversary, I guess, is to remember old times and stuff like this. So these missions there were thus to mimic those. So if you ever wanted to do those again, I try to remember what those missions were. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't remember exactly what the new missions were. I guess I'll have to wait till next anniversary into it. I did make a list of them way, 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 way back when. You you know how that goes, but
Oh yeah.
remembering them afterwards, yes, that's the tricky bit. Next thing we've got that we had into there was the content pack, was the update after, actually before the anniversary, was update 44, and that included the Crown of Hamat, which is the new content they're talking about, where you're helping Mizadi with restoring Hamat. And this update also included something that wasn't in the letter area, and that was, I guess, might consider this be part of the quality of life updates or something. And this was an update to Lalia's Market, where they added the homesteading coins. And they also added a new instance called Doom Shuma, which was associated with the Crown of Hamat. So they got the new content, and they got the new instance for uniting Shigana, but they did not get the raid, and eventually they decided that they would table the raid until, well, I don't think that raid ever happened. They just put it under the table, sort of anything else. So there was no new raid, but there was a new instance, and we did have the content for uniting Shigana. So therefore, since we didn't have the raid, I'm sure that we're going to have to give that a B. Or do you think that doesn't?
Well, yeah, that's frustrating that they didn't get the raid out. I mean,
Yeah, I think part of it was that a lot of people were still in the middle of doing Tub around that time. I think Tub was very, very active still at the time, so they decided this is a very bad time to put out a new raid. So I think that was part of the decision-making process in there, was that it wouldn't have been good for either the development point of view or for the playing point of view. And the final thing that they had that was in late second quarter, they had an update to the summer anniversary where they added this new area in the shield isles where you could run various new quests, and they're mostly Hobbit style type quests because that's what you usually get there. But I think there were more combats in this area than you had usually. Than you usually have into there. I'm trying to think how that worked. With there was because I'm trying to think how they managed to work it, considering the fact that it had to be a zone that was usable at any level. Do you remember?
I don't. No.
I don't.
I
Sorry.
mean, there was combat, and there wasn't there, or am I misremembering? And it was all Hobbit
I pick
quests.
a fight with everyone.
Ah, okay. I was wondering whether they somehow had we're doing a draft of the idea of trying to see what happens if we're scaling content, or or if they just had no comment there, or what? I completely blanked out on the summer festivals. I guess we're just gonna have to wait till next summer in order to find out. By which time I would completely have forgotten this conversation. And anyway, that's what they planned for Q1 and Q2. Now for Q3, they just said summer update and then say that would include some free updates, system enhancements, and more is all they said in there. Whatever system enhancements was, probably tweaks to get the 64-bit servers or something like this, maybe is what they were talking about. And then Q4, the promise was the expansion pack with the level cap increase, new landscape, and more. So this wasn't quite the full telling us of what they're planning for Q3. So the first was just Q1 and Q2, where they had on the original development update. So now they had another letter in March. So they had a new letter from here. And in this one, they updated Q2 to say that the content pack was the Crown of Hamat, which we just talked about, and to talk about the 18th anniversary, and they'll have new missions, new quests, and new rewards. So we went a little bit more details on that. Lalia's market refreshed and expanded, so that was added to their promise list. I probably should have read their Q2 plans, updated Q2 plans before reading what they actually did. VIP exclusive favored standing updates. Oh yes, they did update that so that it was now more zones. I think just about every single rep area now had the favored standing updates done to it, because originally it was only updated for the Icarban Valley, the last year's. The Legacy of Morgoth update was the only ones that originally had the favorite standing updates, and then they brought it around to many more areas in there, any of those that were able to support it. And in case you don't remember what this was, this is that if you have a character reach a certain level of standing with a group, then all of your alts who are working on that one get a bonus in earning earning their favor for them.
Oh wow. So you're talking about like with players with like 10 to 50 million tunes like Sans.
Yeah.
What an incredible favor machine she could actually a favor front she could build.
I don't think you get a favor front from it. I mean, there are a lot of who can take advantage of it,
Uh,
but I think
uh,
it's only the highest favored character is the only one that gives.
oh, okay, okay. She could just whip up a virtual favor cane.
Yeah. Anyway, and then for the midsummer update, new area, quests, and rewards we talked about. So we talked about all those things already when I went and read out the stuff before reading the revised version of the Q2 thing in there. So you'll notice that, let's see, content pack of Crown of Hamat. There they sort of left out the little thing about a new raid in there or anything like that. In fact, they don't even mention the instance in there. I think they just a new content pack and don't go into details on it. So I guess they were reluctant at the time to say, "Oh, by the way, we canceled the new raid that we were planning." All right, so Q3. So in the original letter, I'd say all I said was that there was a summer update with system enhancements and more. Here in Q3, they said class updates for the hunter and burglar, hobby updates, birding extended, reward update, and fishing extended, new way to fish. Farmers Fair update, and Monster Play, Reward Track, and Siege integration. I think a lot of the Q3 stuff, there's some of that stuff in there that does not sound particularly familiar. So let's go and read the July letter, where I think they tell you what they really are going to be doing. in here. All right, for Q3, class updates for Hunter and Burglar were still on the slate. Hobby update, birding extended reward update. Okay, so they updated birding at the time, but you notice they decided not to talk about the fishing update. In fact, actually, what you see is that they actually moved the fishing update to Q1 2026 at that point. Then the Farmer's Fair update, and then Monster Play, Reward Track, new relics, new rewards for players and monster players, and new vendors at outposts. Now, the class updates for the Hunter and Burglar, I think I remember there being Sans, you had a Hunter, so you probably were more affected by any updates that were made there. Do you remember what the updates were?
I recall as Sans being angry. That's what I recall.
Well, are we talking about the update that, like, really changed things, or the update that, like, changed that now we can find things where they changed them?
Well, okay, let's see. In update 45, class changes, we have this list of very long. Oh, that's right. This is that the one that took me 3 episodes to read all the updates.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my! I remember
This was
that
the
dark
really
time.
annoying update. You're right.
Yes, that's right. Oh, that's right. They changed the whole thing, didn't it say?
Yeah, they changed all
So,
of our skill lines, messed everything up, made it really hard, and made us all slower. I remember this.
okay. So they did bring the promised updates. You just wish that there were better updates that were added.
They're more like down dates.
Yeah, I still don't know why they did it. Like, besides, like, wanting to make us all relearn how to play the class, I guess. I don't know.
And that was also the update that had PvP updates.
True.
Okay, that would be
I
under
guess
Monster Play.
the other
Yeah.
note, though, is I really haven't played my Hunter very much after this update.
Okay, I think that tells us what you thought about
Like,
this.
I mean, I've played it some, and it's not as horrible now as it was when the update first came out to play. Like, I've gotten used to it a little bit, but also it's not my, well, I would say it's not my go-to, but actually, with my Hunter not being my go-to, LOTRO is not really my go-to. So, you know, I'm still playing, it's still fun, but
But you want your old Hunter back.
yeah, breaking my Hunter really made it less fun because my Hunter was my main. And I say it was broken because since I rolled her, she has been blue line, and there have been
Yeah.
times when blue line was incredible, and there have been times when then they nerfed it, and this was yet another like cutting down of blue line, and I don't know why. So
All right. Now, as for birding extended, trying to see whether, and here's birding extended where they added some new zones where essentially it looks like they added Gondor at this point. See, because they had earlier added Rohan and Rovanian, so this time they had added Gondor, Honorian, Ithilien, Losanach, Lebanon, Bophalas, Lamadon, Waste, Argonite, and Klingris. So it looks like they didn't add any birding to the other parts of Mordor, where I can understand that the other parts of Mordor, Gorgoroth and Udun sound like some places where I'm sure birds would avoid as much as possible. I don't want to know what kind of birds are in Agonite, though.
Maybe they got
diseased
good
ones.
grubs.
Hmm?
Maybe they got good grubs.
Grubs.
And I was
Okay.
suggesting
Maybe
that
the
maybe they were
soil.
diseased.
Yeah, diseased birds, yes. And I guess the birds and clingers are ones that are good at avoiding spider webs.
Or are caught in the spider webs rather regularly and therefore have
Well,
to.
we You would think that any species of bird that regularly gets caught in spider webs
Would
is
no longer be
probably
around.
not going to be around after a couple of generations.
True, but you might think that about flies as well, and they keep reproducing. So I don't know.
Yeah, but flies, there are a large enough number of flies around that
That's a good point. I didn't notice
yeah,
that many birds in Lingris.
yeah.
And you would have thought that we would have been like having to bat them away.
All right. Any case, so this looks like that the July letter seems to have pretty much down with what was going on there. Now, since this was the last letter, then we will read what was planned for Q4 was, of course, the expansion pack with the level cap increase to 160, which did happen. New landscape, 4 new zones, that did happen. New instance cluster. I think we've got about a few more weeks before that comes out. New raid, probably at least a month before that comes out. And hundreds of new quests and deeds and dozens of new missions. I don't know about dozens of new missions because I counted 20 and I do not consider 20 to be dozens.
It
Well,
is
it's
more
standard
than
decimal
a
point.
dozen. But
It's
yeah,
more than, but I would say that properly use the plural for dozen. I think you need to have at least 24 total. So for 2 dozens at least. But that's just my opinion.
that's fair.
And okay, so the expansion pack had pretty much what they listed, though, of course, as usual, the raid and instance clusters are not immediate. I think they were originally planning to have the instance clusters come out at the same time, but I think they eventually figured, oh no, we're not going to get this out in time if we waited for the instance cluster. So they chose to wait on that. So yeah, we did get the expansion pack out in there, so that's pretty much on there. So now we have one more item left in the development update, and that is what they say for Q1 of 2026, which isn't much yet. We're obviously going to learn really what's coming out in Q1 2026 when the letter comes out. I presume that's going to come out in early January. We'll have to find out. But the two items they have in here are the fishing update and the refresh of the featured instance system. We hope that whatever they do is more popular than the refresh of the deed system. And of course, I would presume that when they make it, if the letter comes out really early, that they will move the thing, new instance cluster and the new raid into the Q1 list also because they didn't quite make fourth quarter. So I presume that they are going to be relatively early in Q1 in there. I would say actually the raid. I'm trying to see when they announced the when they have all those asterisks next to when you buy the game, when you buy the update, that do they have what dates they gave on there, and if that's when we're going to actually be getting them. Okay, Kingdoms of Harad now available. So let's see what the sales pitch says and all those wonderful asterisks they put on there when they say stuff. Okay. All right. The Lord of the Rings Online Kingdom Rod is December 3rd, 2025, which they made. In the event of a delay, you will receive your expansion content no later than January 2nd, 2026, and instances and raid content no later than 90 days after content launch. So therefore, to be on time based on what they say in the sales brochure, they just have to get the instances and raids to us by March 3rd, which I think the instances probably, I think January is probably when they'll get them. And I'm going to guess that late February, early March is when they're going to have the raid. That's my current guess. We'll find out the truth of that in about 3 months, I guess. All right. So, any of you have any favorites as to what was your favorite new thing that was added for this year?
Oh boy.
You're trying to
Yes,
remember
but
if
it
you actually
hardly
used any of it?
counts. There's now a gate for the new housing in Rivendell.
Oh yeah, that'll
And it's
probably
a really
be a
pretty
Q1
gate.
item. And it's a
It's a pretty gate. It looks really
yeah,
nice.
it's a pretty gate. Yeah, we have a pretty gate.
And there's a road behind it. And I really want to travel up it, and it's new to the game this year.
I'm gonna say that even
It's
though
not
they put the
even
gate
actually
up this
released
year,
though.
yeah, I want to call that a 2026 Q1 probably item that they're going to say there is Rivendell housing. Because I'm going to call that open when they actually open up the housing. Yes, I know the gate is there as a sneak tease.
The housing isn't there yet, and it would be better when there's housing.
Yeah,
but
there's a tease there. Yes. Okay.
I guess maybe I appreciate the mithril that they added through the patrons' coffers because I'm anxiously awaiting the housing.
Oh yes. All those patrons' coffers that include mithril in them. Yes.
And keep completely filling up my inventory. Yeah.
Well, yeah, there is that little thing. Well, there's a reason why I don't open the cosmetics portions of.
Even without opening the cosmetics portions, just logging into a character that I haven't played in a year, like their inventory is like completely maxed. I'm like, I can't even talk to Winda to start fixing this. Okay.
Yeah, you can't talk to Winda until.
So, I mean, it's kind of fun to have all the cool stuff coming out of the boxes as you figure out how to open them, but it's also difficult.
Okay. Krister, do you have any favorite update or anything like that?
Not in particular, I would have to say. I'm usually angry about the Mariners updates. That's about as far as no.
You're still that was a previous year.
No, I really am looking forward to the new raid and seeing what it's all about.
Well, you didn't like the old raid enough to
Well, I mean, it's
qualify
just,
that as your favorite. Oh, because you never finished it.
Yeah, it's always frustrating. I don't know. It'd be nice to be able to really actually finish stuff, and feel like you've completed the arc for the raid instead of bashing your head against it over and over again.
Yeah.
What's the isn't that the definition of psychosis, where you do the same thing over and over again, hoping for a different result?
Maybe.
I mean, we did change some things between different runs and different attempts, but yeah. It was fun to get together and try it, though.
Yeah, and if I did have a favorite thing, then thank you, Sins. You actually put that in. You activated my brain on that. So my favorite thing was being deeply, deeply concerned about Krister not being able to toe the line when he was started to do raiding again. So it was really nice when I did raid that Krister was able to stand right up there. He was fully equipped. Now, that's no longer the case, of course, because now we have 10 new levels. And I was laughing that the first experience that Krister's earned in years was what was opening the holiday mail or whatever it is. I was like, I opened the mail and I was like, what something happened? What just happened? I was like, oh, Oh, wait a sec. I heard experience.
Okay.
But that, that is, of course, inspiration to get back in more regular form with him and get him up to 160 and get him geared appropriately at that point, because I'm assuming that'll be his gear will be trash, basically.
Yeah, I'm assuming my gear is all trash now. But I put so much work into it over the summer.
Oh
Oh
well.
Well, that is so frustrating. I mean, that is what's frustrating about the level cap races.
I'll have more time next summer.
Yeah. Oh well. Now, my favorite thing from this year's stuff is finally finishing the Song of Waves and Wind.
Congrats.
Yes. Ah, yes. Oh, it's nice that they finally finished that storyline. So we don't. Now, I don't know if any of the other threads got finished, but at least the Song of Waves and Winds is now all done, which probably means that this summer they're going to start some sort of new storyline that is going to take us into some weird location. I guess we'll probably hear about that maybe when the letter comes out. We'll see. And anyway, that's it for our little review of 2025 and that little peek into what we think is coming out in Q1 2026. Is there anything here that you're hoping for in 2026 that's not on our expected list for the first quarter?
Excuse me, I choked when I thought of it.
Oh,
I would love to see. Well, okay, if we're gonna just dream, I mean,
okay, okay. I guess
I,
dream. Try
I
dream.
would love to
Okay.
see them make the change so the captain can be moving again when they're resing people.
I want to be able to move faster regularly. On my hunter, I want my 5% speed back. And on all my other characters, I want 30% speed. Thank you. Or, like 60% or 100%.
A
If you
rideable
want
Extra.
Lumac.
60%, yeah, if you want
Extra.
60% speed, you need a mount because that's what the mounts are for.
I want a rideable Mumac, and then I also want a Mumac kin house.
A Mumac kin house.
Yeah,
I would be content if it was
Swanders.
like a treehouse, but yes. You climb up to
Okay.
it and
maybe
perch up
maybe in
there.
a mammoth, maybe in a Mumac skeleton.
When
Okay,
they had
maybe I'm getting too far from things that they would actually be willing to do.
actually we'll get Moonmox with Ortekai housing.
Oh, I would love a Mumak.
That'd be awesome to have
I
one
would
out
love
on
a
the lawn.
Mumak mount. I would love a full-size
Yeah,
Mumak pet. That would be awesome.
a regular sized Moonmox pet.
Yeah. That thunders the ground around you. Kind of shakes it. However,
Um,
I don't think that's likely to happen. So
no,
please give me
I
more
think it'll
ways
drive me
to
crazy.
increase my speed while I run around the landscape. Thanks.
Oh well, I know you always want more speed.
I do. And it doesn't really matter what game I'm playing.
Yeah, and I tend to forget sometimes to mount up, so it's sort of like in the opposite direction.
Well, and that's like playing ESO, where you can, if you want to, dedicate yourself to getting faster and faster and faster. It's
Yeah,
frustrating to go back to LOTRO and go, hey, I guess I can't accelerate myself in any way, can I?
yeah. It's like in ESO, I actually get pretty close to sand speed on my character. So it's like when
Well, yeah, because you can keep working at it and make it faster.
yeah,
And then you can get champion points and make yourself faster. And you can wear armor pieces that make you faster.
Yep.
And all of it stacks. And it's amazing.
right. It's like that we were playing ESO. I think it was last week or the week before where Sans and I weren't mounted, and we had some people who were mounted, and I think we were all keeping up with each other.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, low levels. I mean, the high level people can just outrun you. They'll
Yeah,
just or outwalk you. Even I think in some circumstances.
right.
Right.
In any case, yeah. All right. So you're looking to be able to run faster,
When like in
Chris.
ESO, I do have to make concessions. Like some of my characters put points into other things to do more DPS or to do better crafting or something, so they don't run as fast, and that's annoying. But I made the choice. It wasn't like
Right.
forced on me. I think I should have the choice in LOTRO too.
Agreed.
Oh well. Did you say what's your greatest hope for next year, 2026, Krister?
Yeah,
Okay.
but you laughed at me, and then I said stuff
Oh,
ridiculous things, and then it was just pointless.
okay, fine.
What are you hoping for, Pineleaf?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say
Skirmish soldiers that work after 105?
skirmish soldiers at work. Actually, you you got you got a good point there. Yes, a skirmish soldier and rewards update. That would be really great because those skirmish camps, they are getting pretty lonely after characters get to 105. They're rarely at those camps because there's just no reason to go there, right?
Well, yeah,
Because
especially
those
now that they took away the reputation acceleration things you used to be able to buy there.
I mean, the only reason I would go there is in February. I occasionally visit my cousin Netta.
Fair.
Yeah, so yeah, not much going on in skirmish camps because yeah, after 105, yeah. And in fact, it's so obvious now that they stopped adding skirmish camps and skirmish halls to new areas. Because why bother?
True.
Because no one's going to go there after 105.
But did they actually remember to take the Ember vendor to the newest areas this time? Or have they stopped moving those to new areas too?
I believe there is an Embers. I think I saw a vendor at the new area, or at least I saw the barter marker on the map for the rotating. I know that the Figments one was there. I don't know if the Ember. Yeah, I did not explicitly check for Embers yet because
Because I know in the last update,
yeah.
like before December, you couldn't find the Embers vendors anywhere in the new area. You had to keep going back to old level cap content to find them.
Yeah, there is that little pain in there. The other one that was a bit of a headache was when I was checking out the new mission locations, where I told you that there are 20 missions in there, so slightly less than dozens. But the other thing that I noticed while doing the new missions was that it doesn't really give away for low level characters to get there. I mean, the missions are technically doable by a character from level 20 through cap. So I have my tradition is that whenever a new set of missions comes out, I run the missions and do video recordings of the missions on a low level character is what I did to it. So it's just I just gotten used to doing that. And I found that low level characters have a real tough time to getting there. The easiest one to get to is if you have the housing item, that allows you to port to there. You could get to the second of the 4 mission areas quickly that way. And since you are at the second of the mission areas, you're able to, yes, if you're at the second of the mission areas, you pop into it pops you in right to where it is, so you could then run up to not right next to the missions, but into a protected area where there and you could run from there up to where the missions are, and you can do the missions there without any trouble. I found that you could spend a mithril, at a stable master and get to 2 of the other 3 areas without serious issue. Of course, it costs you a mithril each time you do it because you can't unlock stable masters you hit level I think it's level 150 where those stable masters unlock. It's here's 150 or 135. I can't
So
remember
it's
which
one
one
of
it is.
those, like, you can discover them, but you can't actually use them until you're the right level, sort of stable.
Right. I don't know if they even count as discovered because I noticed that the green thing still is there. So I don't know if the green thing means it hasn't been discovered or if the green thing means that you're not qualified to use this and that discovery was just one of the qualifications to it. But I do know that there is a minimum level on those stable masters, and that level is in the higher. Yeah, I know it's the milestones. I think it was the milestones are 135 and the stable masters are 150. I think is how it is, but it might be the other way around. Either way, you're not going to be getting around on those. And if you spend a mithril coin, of course, you can bypass that, but that's only for that one trip in there. Fortunately, Stable Master mithril costs stay at 1 even in new zones, unlike mithriling to finish a quest where the capped areas are at 5 mithril. So at least it's only 1 mithril in there, but yeah, the average person is not going to be doing that. I did it because I wanted to do for my recording, but I am not expecting any player to routinely do that for anything like this. So I'm saying pretty much is that if you've got access to one of those furniture items, you can get to one of the 4 zones, the Zijana. Let's see, what is to the second area, but the other 3 areas, no, you're not going to be getting to those unless your character is made of mithril or something like that. Now, the first area, Agadine, the Motorwood, that has the problem that the guards don't like low level characters. So I have not seen anything in the release notes since then, that they've fixed that yet. So I'm going to assume that if you bring your low level character into the Motorwood, your character is not going to be alive.
And it's not even
So
the wildlife's fault.
no, it's not the wildlife. No, it's not the wild. I had no wildlife problems when I was doing this testing in there, but the guards came and goodbye. So the result of that is that I did have to do my mission videos for the first area for Academe. I had to do that on the on a higher level character. But the rest of them, I was able to, with a little help of Mithril and the housing item, to get to the other 3 areas. There are no mission stable masters yet in the area. I'm hoping that if they ever get around to adding mission stable masters, that they will also convince the guards, at least the guards that are near the mission givers, to at least convince the guards near the mission givers not to
Not to
pester
attack
the low level
players
characters. Yeah,
of any level. I wonder what
yeah.
happens to poor chickens. Um, but it sounds like it's kind of like the new festival area where, like, you could take a boat to get there, but there was then, like, no way to leave without milestoning.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of sounds like that. Like, you can use your housing item to get to one place, but then you can't really get to any of the other places without mithril or milestones or something.
I think they took care of the summer festival ones, but I think they took care of it after the festival, so therefore you're not going to be able to
Well, yeah, we haven't
see
seen
the
it
fix
in
until the
festival
next day.
yet.
Yes.
But that was a cool area. They did a good job with it. And I loved the swimming descriptions. And the fact that they changed for hobbits versus the other races. But it was still weird to be like, come see this beautiful island. Now you can't leave. Sam says tourism through kidnapping.
Just say, I think a lot of horror movies start like that. It's just.
Oh boy, the Hotel Shield Isles. Anyway, anything else to add for our year in review?
Well, Sam says that the new housing is going to be very close to the skirmish camp, so Pineleaf might really like that when it comes in.
Yeah, I did notice that it's particularly close to the skirmish camp. So, except for the fact that most of my characters have no need to go to a skirmish camp because.
Well, you have some low levels still.
Yeah, I do still have some low level characters. That's correct.
And then thinking of your Mumak skeleton idea, Krister, Sam suggested that we could have a kin house inside a Leviathan carcass.
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah, that would work.
We might have to make this for like the monster player housing when they finally get it, though. Anyway.
Anyway, that's why I was thinking of it for the when they have Mordecai housing neighborhood, because they would they may build a house just to make it look like a Moonwalk or something like that. If anyone's going to do it, it would be the Mordecai.
Fair.
Anyway, that's it for our look back on it. So let's then head out into our week in gaming. Krister, what were you up to?
Well, Krister is beginning to prepare for his rise to level 160. And so once again, I've now I've got those the new auras for my weapon and shield, and so I just look like a glowing advertisement of wonder. And then, of course, I got my glitch helmet on, which makes my visor completely empty, and you're staring into the darkness. So yeah, Krister rocks. But I was experiencing some weird UI things, and I was curious.
Besides the helmet?
Well, that's the glitch I like.
Okay.
That's the glitch I don't want them to fix. But no, it was when I went into the to bring C up the character and went to the cosmetics tab. I couldn't select it. My outfits area was completely blacked out.
Weird.
Yeah, I've never experienced anything like that before, and so.
When was the last time you checked it out?
That happened to me today.
Oh, okay. So it's obviously recently, and since the last update.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'd never had that happen before, so I was just kind of curious.
Weren't they working on adding more outfit slots?
They did. I was looking at the outfit slots that I had in there, and I had a 9th slot that I think was a new slot, and then there are these slots 10 through 20 something that were okay. You get this if you could get this if you hit the LOTRO store, So they added a lot of new slots. It looks like
wow.
Looks like I might have gotten one new one either that because there's a slot
I didn't realize
there.
they added so many.
The thing is, you have to scroll on the tabs a little bit in order to do it because the main page on it only shows the first 8 that were always there before.
So you have to keep scrolling to find it.
So yeah, so you'd have to. I forgot how you scrolled already because I did go through one time and scrolling down and seeing all those extra slots that I could buy if I wanted to. But I haven't actually bought any.
My level 30 captain yesterday was able to use the outfit slot things like normal.
Yeah, I have no trouble. I've been using my outfit slots without any trouble. I do know that they were having some people were having trouble with it. I do not know what situations trigger it. Like, is it male race of man was the only one who has trouble with it, or what?
It's probably kind of like there's some kind of like jealousy algorithm maybe,
I was just gonna say
where
maybe it's
it's like the
because
people that put really good outfits together, they're punishing them by not letting them change around because they
measures
don't want
of
to see how all
awesomeness.
these. Yeah, because then there's like 8 outfit slots of awesome, and so they're just like, you know what, we can only stand you just seeing you in one form, you know, and so they took it away.
It might be
Uh,
worth logging in a couple more times though to just see if it
Yeah, I
fixes or submit a bug ticket.
all right. Well, yes, we can only hope that they fix that in January.
Though,
I
okay, I saw a weird UI thing too though.
Yeah.
So Gwendis and I have a kinship called Hooligans of Middle Earth on Peregrine, and we've got a kinship house, and when you ran up to it, it was like instead of saying Hooligans of Middle Earth Kinship House or Kinship House of the Hooligans of Middle Earth or whatever it says normally, it was saying uh like parentheses string table error, tons of numbers and letters, and like just a really long string table error that like fell off, like you couldn't even see the whole thing. And that was weird. I logged in
Yeah,
the
that sounds
kin
much worse
leader
than what I saw.
and well no, because like I can still change my outfits, so it still takes the cake. But it was weird. I logged in the kin leader and got the same error on the kin leader, and I was like, what in the world? And so I like opened all the kin tabs and everything looked fine. I sent a kin message of the day, that looked fine. Ran back and forth a few times and it finally fixed itself, but I don't know why it did that. So there could be weird UI stuff going around. I don't know.
Yeah, LOTRO has classically done things on my machine that no other program has done. Just
Including
reboots.
letting you trample.
Well, now that's a very positive outcome.
Okay, fair.
And if you have any complaints, you're next on the list.
Okay.
No complaints. But I'd love to see more trampling.
Okay.
Oh, a move back mount and trampling in 2026. That would just be heaven.
Okay. Let's go into our weekend gaming. Krister, what were you up to?
All right. So after my realization of Krister's less than greatness that needs to be achieved, I played a lot of Helldivers 2. I played an excessive amount of Helldivers 2. It's a game that I both love and hate, and I can't explain it. But just to share a moment with you guys, I'm in this blasted battlescape, having this huge battle. And the sun sets, and it sets in this world. It goes completely pitch black on the ground. You can't see anything. And I turn around, and through the smoke and fires and the burning cityscape, I see this gigantic blue planet dominating the sky, fully lit by the sun. There's a moon in front of it that's casting a shadow on it. And it was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in that game. And it's just, that's what makes that game so great. You know, you're playing this game that just takes all hope from you, just robs you of all everything. It is the embodiment of digital hopelessness. But it has these moments that just make it really cool. So I've been playing a lot of that. And then my friend he was building he's making a new D&D campaign world, and he asked me to submit some legends from the past. And so I was going to submit one of my stories from one of my characters I played called Brinewind. And he was a barbarian that was a big, strong idiot. And he got his hands on a Wand of Wonder. And when he got the Wand of Wonder, he fancied himself a wizard. And so every time he would cast the Wand of Wonder, it would have a random effect. And so one of the highlights of the entire thing was we had one of the climactic battles of our campaign. He whips that wand out. He casts the wand, and an anvil appears 10 feet above his head, hits his head, it smashes into his head, almost kills him, and he's out for the entire fight. He then acquired the ability to leave adult red dragon tracks when he walked, and so that caused a lot of problems for him. And then he got he at another climactic fight with a black dragon. He charmed himself, fell in love with the dragon, and almost convinced the dragon to go away with him before the dragon killed him and ate him. And I thought that would be a fun legend to share. So, Stans, what did you get up to?
That's awesome. Well, I started the new area on my Runekeeper with Cinders and Pine Leaf, and that was pretty fun. And yeah, turns out that the Runekeeper Lore Master combo still starts lots of fires and is still pretty cool. Ran some skirmishes with the field trip, and that was fun. Kind of figured out a little bit how to help the group on my captain, because we had the perfect number for skirmishes, right, Pineleaf?
Isn't that, what is that, 4.5? 4.5?
Yeah, if you count my skirmish, or my archer.
That's right.
My banner bearer. Yeah, it is not Pineleaf's favorite number for skirmishing. I don't know if it's actually the worst number for skirmishing, but it's not Pineleaf's favorite.
Now, 7 is usually considered to be the worst number.
Okay, so we weren't quite the worst. We were like second worst. But after the first time when there were multiple deaths, I retraded blue, and we had 2 very successful skirmishes with no deaths after that, which was kind of fun. And I was just enjoying seeing all the green numbers going up over them while I was still like smashing things with my halberd and probably not doing any damage, but it was fun. And
hey, that's not the point, right? That's just to keep that river of healing going.
exactly. And I made everybody faster for one of the sprints in Gondaman, and then I couldn't use it again for 2 minutes, and that was annoying. They should have shorter cooldowns for going fast. And then I've been festivaling and lead hunting in ESO, and that's been pretty fun too. So that's pretty much my week in gaming. How was your week, Pineleaf?
All right. Well, my lore master continued with the Crown of Hamat quest line, the new Crown of Hamat stuff that's part of the finale thing, the latest expansion pack, and I think I'm getting very, very close to the end of this. Like I'm smelling an end fight coming soon, but I have a feeling that the instances in the raids might be also related into this, all stuff like this. So I'm going to get up to here and say, okay, you're at the end of the story so far, but you know how that happens sometimes. But I guess we'll find out in there. But it looks like I'm getting near the end of that area. My warden finished up the quest in the Moulder Wood, so I'm now ready to head out into the second area there. And my Runekeeper is about halfway through the third region in the new content in there. And this is the character that's going in there with Cinder. So the 2 of us are into there. We're about halfway through there, I think, of the third area. Then once we finish that, then we'll be starting to get near the end of the story where things are really, really going to pick up pace, shall we say. And that's what I did this week in LOTRO.
You missed my question.
What? What was your question?
Will they ever teach wargs to fish?
Wargs to fish?
Think about it. They don't need a pole. They've got their tail. Now, in order to deal with the bait, what I'm thinking is they have some kind of fishing goblin. And the fishing goblin rides in a little saddle on top of the warg. And then when they go fishing, the fishing goblin, baits his line, and the ward just whips his tail out. Does some fly fishing.
I'm pretty
Huh?
sure my ward
Huh?
would go fishing by swimming up and eating the fish.
Well, that
Catch it
sounds
with
more.
its mouth.
That sounds far more sensible. I guess that's yeah. Yeah, but that would be cool too. Is that because that's the
So,
equivalent of the fishing, right? So for a warg. So.
yeah, fishing with my tail in the moors does not seem like a good idea.
It sounds like an unlikely thing. I would say, yeah, if a dog were to or warg were to try to fish, I would say it'd either be either with the mouth or with the forepaws.
Or combo.
What about birding for monster play?
Birding
be
for
interesting.
monster play?
I'm trying to fit my head around orcs birding.
I don't think that probably monsters would be very good at it, but
Hey, we haven't shot that one before.
but I could see them birding for players who are birding. Like,
The
oh look,
orcs
there's
build
another
fake
player
bird.
birding.
Put up the crow. Put the crow up again. Yeah, they're coming.
Build traps based on birding.
Oh, that would be funny.
Player baiting. Set up some signs too. Great fishing hole here.
Okay. Well, if you have any great ideas for what they may be doing in 2026, or any comments about your favorite or least favorite points from the site, you could send us an email at podcast@lotraplayers.com. And the Players Alliance has 2 shows on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We have the Lotra Players News, and we record DDO Players News when Drac is available. You can join us for our shows at lotraplayers.com/live. And that's all for tonight then. This is Pally Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.